So thank you to all my supporters, especially the Filipino community here in DC and back home and wherever you are in the world. I really, guys, I feel all the love. Maraming salamat, mga kababayan. Maraming salamat.
She was 21 years old, just a few points away from making history. Then, without warning, the sky itself stepped in. For 90 long minutes, nobody knew whether they were about to witness the greatest collapse of a young career, or the birth of a champion the tennis world would never forget. One decision made away from the cameras would change everything. When Alex Eala walked onto the court at the Mubadala DC Open final, she wasn't just playing for a trophy. She was carrying the hopes of an entire nation that had waited decades for this moment. Across the net stood Jessica Pegula, one of the most experienced and consistent players on the WTA Tour. A veteran known for staying calm under pressure. A player who rarely let opportunities slip away once she took control of a match. Alex, meanwhile, was the exciting young star everyone believed had unlimited potential. She had already shown flashes of brilliance throughout the tournament, but a final against one of the world's best was an entirely different challenge. Millions were watching. Not just tennis fans. An entire country was awake in the middle of the night, hoping to witness something that had never happened before. No Filipina had ever won a WTA singles title. History was waiting. But history wasn't going to come easily. From the very first game, Pegula showed exactly why she belonged among the world's elite. Her serves landed with precision. Her returns came back deep. Every rally seemed to end on her terms. Whenever Alex tried to attack, Pegula absorbed the pressure and turned defense into offense with remarkable efficiency. The rhythm of the match belonged completely to the American. Alex searched for answers, but every adjustment seemed to create another problem. The pressure of the occasion became impossible to ignore. The crowd could feel it. Every missed forehand. Every rushed decision. Every lost service game. Little by little, the first set slipped away. Pegula claimed it 6-4. For the first time all week, Alex looked vulnerable. The confidence that had carried her through the tournament suddenly seemed to disappear. The Filipino supporters inside the stadium fell unusually quiet. Not because they had stopped believing, but because they were afraid of believing too much. After all, sports can be cruel. Sometimes dreams end just when they begin to feel real. Pegula looked completely comfortable. She had been here before countless times. Another title seemed only minutes away. Then something happened that nobody expected. Dark clouds rolled over the stadium. The rain began to fall. Within moments, officials suspended play. The players left the court. The crowd opened umbrellas. The stadium, once filled with tension and noise, became strangely silent. Most people saw nothing more than an inconvenient weather delay. But in reality, it was the turning point of the entire tournament. Because rain delays don't simply interrupt matches. They interrupt momentum. For the player leading the match, they can cool confidence. For the player trailing, they offer something even more valuable. Time. Time to breathe. Time to think. Time to reset. Inside the locker room, away from every camera and microphone, Alex Eala faced the most important opponent of the day. Her own thoughts. Nobody knows exactly what she told herself. Nobody heard the conversation happening inside her mind. But whatever happened during those 90 minutes completely changed the direction of the final. When Alex returned to the court, something was different. It wasn't dramatic. She wasn't shouting. She wasn't pumping her fists after every point. The transformation was much quieter, but far more dangerous. Instead of forcing winners, she became patient. Instead of trying to finish rallies immediately, she extended them. Every shot carried more margin. Every decision became more calculated. She stopped trying to overpower Pegula. She started making Pegula work for every single point. At first, the difference was almost impossible to notice. But slowly, the rallies became longer. 3 shots became 5. 5 became 8. 8 became 12. With every extra exchange, Pegula was forced to hit one more difficult ball. One more decision. One more opportunity for the momentum to shift. And little by little, it did. The energy inside the stadium changed before anyone could explain why. The crowd sensed it. Each rally Alex won brought louder cheers. Each successful service game built another layer of confidence. The body language began to tell a completely different story. Pegula, who had looked untouchable earlier, was suddenly asking questions. Alex, who had looked nervous only an hour before, was beginning to answer every one of them. Champions rarely panic. Pegula certainly didn't. She continued attacking. She continued serving aggressively. She searched for the opening that had come so easily in the first set. But the match no longer belonged to her. Momentum had changed sides. And once momentum starts moving, it rarely stops without a fight. Every game suddenly felt enormous. Every juice felt like an entire match compressed into a single point. The atmosphere became electric. Nobody wanted to blink. Because everyone could feel something extraordinary beginning to happen. Alex wasn't simply surviving anymore. She was growing stronger with every passing minute. Confidence replaced hesitation. Patience replaced frustration. Belief replaced doubt. The player who had walked off the court before the rain wasn't the same player who had returned. When the second set reached its closing moments, the pressure shifted entirely onto Pegula. She had entered the match expecting to finish quickly. Instead, she found herself trapped in a battle that refused to end. Then came the breakthrough. Alex held her nerve. She captured the second set. 6-4. The crowd exploded. Not because the match was over, but because it wasn't. After losing the opening set, Alex had completely rewritten the script. 1 set each. Everything would now be decided by a final set. And nobody inside that stadium could have imagined what was about to happen next. Part 2. Almost equals 750 words. The final set began with a completely different feeling. Jessica Pegula had entered the match looking like the favorite everyone expected. Now, for the first time all afternoon, she looked uncertain. Alex Eala, on the other hand, looked completely free. There was no hesitation left in her game. No fear. No second guessing. Every serve carried confidence. Every return had purpose. Every rally felt like she already knew exactly where the next ball needed to go. This wasn't the same player who had struggled through the opening set. This was someone who had discovered another level. Pegula fought hard to stop the momentum. Champions never surrender easily. She continued attacking whenever she saw an opening. She tried shortening points. She mixed up her shots. She searched for anything that could slow Alex's surge. But nothing worked. The longer the match continued, the stronger Alex became. What made the comeback even more remarkable wasn't spectacular winners or impossible highlight shots. It was control. Pure control. Alex stayed patient. She trusted her game. She refused to rush. Point after point, she forced Pegula into difficult positions until mistakes slowly began to appear. Every game felt like another piece of history falling into place. The high-ranked veteran was now chasing the match. The 21-year-old challenger had become the one dictating everything. The scoreboard reflected it. One game. Then another. Then another. The pressure that had weighed so heavily on Alex during the first set had somehow crossed the net. Now Pegula was the one searching for answers. You could see it between points. The quick looks toward her coaching box. The deep breaths. The frustration after unforced errors. She knew the match was slipping away. Meanwhile, Alex remained incredibly composed. Her emotions stayed under control. She celebrated quietly. Reset quickly. Focused on only one thing. The next point. That's what separates great competitors from everyone else. They don't become overwhelmed by the size of the moment. They stay locked into the smallest possible task. One serve. One return. One rally. 1 point. As the final games approached, something unbelievable became clear. Pegula wasn't simply losing. She was being completely overwhelmed. The momentum had flipped so dramatically that the match almost looked unrecognizable compared to the first set. Then came championship point. One final rally.